Ellie, and I am back with December Daily Day 10. I guess I'm back for it too, right? But um, so yesterday's page was this page with where I cut the 3 4x4 cards down, so I only had 2 photos, and then had this note kind of pad journaling piece that I'm going to journal on at some point, hopefully over the weekend, to talk about these photos. And then the way it lays in the book, it lays like this, so that eventually what will happen is this will flip over here. And like we talked about, I'm probably going to do something with this, but the time had to be so short last night, and depending on how the day has gone, I don't have much of a voice by the end of the day. So that's that, which leads me to today's page. So this is what you will see with today's page. So a couple of things to think about for me is you're going to see half of this in the background for today's page, but you'll also see the back of this. Hey, Tammy, yay. Glad you caught me alive again. Caught me live again. Oh my goodness. I hope I'm alive. Some nights maybe I don't feel that way, but tonight I do. Oh my goodness. Anyway, words are hard some days. So I'm also going to see the back of this flip card. So when I do this, I have to think about what it's going to look like with this, and then whatever is over here, which we'll do tomorrow. So just a couple of thoughts for me to think about. Things, I like to tell you what I'm thinking about. So I'm going to put this just to the side here, because right now this is kind of what I'm looking at, right? So I have one photograph for today, and this is an early Christmas present from my boyfriend. And this is like the craziest present to be excited about, but if you live in a cold state where it gets cold, you'll understand this. This is an electronic tire pressure gauge. So if you live in cold climates, the first time the tire, the climate, it gets really cold, our tire pressure gauges all go off because the pressure in your tires goes down. And in this particular case, it happened on a very cold day to me. And I mentioned to my boyfriend, oh man, I have to go tomorrow. I didn't do it that night because I was on my way home and it was after 8 and it was very cold. I had mentioned to him, I have to do it tomorrow. And and it was going to be very cold. Hey, Krista. So he was rummaging around in his bedroom, and I was trying to figure out what he did. And he walked out and he said, oh, bonjour, Claire. Or bonjour. I actually used the N in there. Anyway, so he walked out and handed me this box, and he said he was going to save it till Christmas, but I could really use it tomorrow. And I've been wanting one of these because the regular old ones just don't work anywhere near as well, nor often do the ones at the gas station, the tire pressure gauges. So this is like the craziest, funniest thing, but I had put it on a wish list and figured if I didn't get it for Christmas, I would just buy it myself. But he gave this to me, and I love it that every time I use that tire pressure gauge, and it does happen several times during the winter if you live in what can be a very cold climate. And tonight, in my lovely little corner of southeastern Wisconsin, when I came home at 7 p.m., it's 8:22 now, so an hour and a half later, it was a balmy 17 degrees and falling, because our high tomorrow I thought was going to be 10, but I just looked and now they're saying 9 degrees, you guys. That's like mid-January weather for us, and we're not used to it because we had such a warm spring. And I'm telling you right now, I'm sitting next to a window in my scrapbook room, which I love, but it feels cold. It feels like there's cold coming from there. But anyway, so we're going to talk about my tire pressure gauge present today. I think what I'm going to do is just tape this, not paste it, to the back of this picture from the day before, because I think I'm going to have to trim this photo a little bit from what it looked like. And I'd rather do that now than later after I've got the embellishments on it. Okay. Then the other thing is that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a card that goes, excuse me, guys, that goes, that the allergy stuff is hanging on strong, and it will be, because we went from 60 degrees on Sunday to 9 degrees as a high on Thursday. And some days I ask myself why I live in Wisconsin, except those 4 darling grandchildren have their little tendrils and grandma. Okay, so I'm thinking of 3x4 card up in here, and look at this. I've used enough 3x4 cards already that my 4x6s fit in here. So, could do special delivery. Merry Moments would work. I love this would work. And I love that this story shows you the kind of concern that my boyfriend has for me. He's always sweet like that, and thinking of me, and, you know, helping out, making things easier. That kind of a thing. At one point, we were going to go do something over that weekend. And he said something about, I like the magical moment idea too. He said something about going to get my tire pressure done, you know, and I said, no, you don't have to do that. I can do it, but I thought it was fun. Yeah, Tammy says she's not good in cold weather and she wouldn't thaw until summer. Yeah, well, at least our high is still above 0. Although they are talking about wind chills, which is a lovely fact when you live in cold weather. It's like heat indexes when you live in a hot place, that they're talking about well below 0 tomorrow. So that's just a fun fact. And maybe part of my, like when I get up tomorrow morning, I'm thinking I should try to remember to take a screenshot of the temperature. I like to do that every so often. Just if it happens during this, I'm going to have all those add to cart things here. Let's see. But that's a thought. Joy, joy, joy. I like that, except I really wouldn't have a place to journal on here, and I really want to do the card here. I think I have lots of good ideas. Sorry that I'm just sorting through all these because I can't think of, this is kind of cute. It's that moment of, it says joy, wonder, peace, and love, and I could definitely do love. Okay, I think, unless another card overtakes it, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I really like the idea of that one. So the love list and the love this and the merry moments, no. Special delivery, no. A magical moment, I like a moment of joy and wonder better than the magical moment piece of it. Okay, and I'm gonna tape these to, or I want to tape today. I guess it technically is a tape, right? But I want to put these together because I'm going to have to also cut this photo. Let me see. Okay, so this is a side that I need to justify to. And I say that because making rookie mistakes, I don't want to cut this because the embellishment is already there. So I want to cut this side. Okay, so now we have kind of the basic structure. I do kind of like that fact that that they're kind of reds, both reds. Ho, 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 winter fun. There is a nice little heart there. There's a big heart there in red, but I'm thinking I would want that in a contrasting color. And the oh, what fun would be kind of funny if I was just talking about the early present, but I like the fact, or I want to talk about what a thoughtful sort gift it was. Maybe I could do like one of the present present die cuts here, now that I think about it. So what do I have for those? If I wanted to, I could always do something here, like where my hand is as well. If I wanted to highlight the number or something down there. I'm sure this was too subtle for you guys to hear, but my scrapbook room faces north and a little bit east, and my window is rattling from the wind. Again, why do I live here? Oh yeah, that's right. Just remind me the 4 M's. Good thing they're cute. Thought I saw a present in here. Maybe I didn't. I'm sure I can come up with one from somewhere. Oh, I have 2 presents, but they're huge. Like, well, I could do that one maybe. I don't think I'd want to repeat the red or pink. I think I'd want something on here to be green. And then I could bring in the blue color with like hearts and stuff like that. I'm going to leave these out just in case. And I want to look and see, do I have any other present icons anywhere? It's so funny because normally there's present icons in here, or a lot of them, but this year it looks like there's only 2. If that is this year's, now that I think about it. I probably want to look in here also. I'm going to be a little squirrelish and be all over the place and just see if there's anything in here that talks about care, presence. There's the little details in green, which I kind of like the idea of doing green down here. There's an under the Christmas tree, but this wasn't really under the Christmas tree. It's an early present. Oh, there is actually a sticker that says an early present. In green, no less, guys. Well, that has to be. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there and just see. I'm going to look here just at green. There is another one that says the little details. So I could do like 2 of them and just talk about the little details of how cool I find that he did that. And then I'm going to look at the puppies to see if there's any. Oh, there's actually one that says on my wish list as well. Now it's getting fun. Oh, there are presents on here. that's kind of cool because that could go here, but I'd want to use the early present too because I'm pretty sure. Oh, and there's puffies here. Okay, so I have quite a few puffies to choose from. It's harder to tell. You guys can see that, I think. It's harder to tell that these are presents, maybe a little bit harder to tell, but I don't think it's too hard to tell. And I do have to remember that I have to do a date in here somewhere. One of the things I do like about this is I like the space it takes up here. But I also love this on my wish list because it was. So let's see, I'm gonna just cut, because if I stick these down, they won't come off the photograph. So kind of play with, excuse me, what this could look like. Oh, there's lots of presents on this one. I didn't even really notice that. So to keep a little perspective, I think I'm going to use these Trees and Presents chipboard instead of this. But we'll keep that there just in case. So the only one with, although there's this green. Just trying to think. We could do something down here with this green present. I think I like the idea of presents up there and maybe just this here. There's a present here too. There's a lot of presents on this one. Or do I want to do something like this and bring out these two little pieces here somehow? This one, I actually think I would almost have to put the longer one in because what's going to happen is the way this step detail is here. Okay, so I'm going to just put this on here because I like the idea of this. Oh, and I have to get a number on here yet, you guys. Not even thinking about the number. And I want to make sure I have enough room to journal on here. I have to remember that as well, too, that I do need to journal. So, okay, here's the one thing I don't love about this, though, is that when I'm putting this down, it crosses the card and then leaves that trapped white space. So I don't love that. Okay. So maybe I need to go to smaller presents. Okay, I was thinking I really wanted something with green in it. Oh, and I managed to take off a piece of the so if we did this down here, thinking I might be able to take up enough space if I did both of these. Okay, so let me see how this, like where I would have to get this. I want to cover up that little white mark I just took off. If I hadn't done that, this wouldn't be such a big deal, but because I did that, it's becoming a bigger deal. Okay, there's the little details. And here's the early Christmas present. Actually, I think this is going to work just like this. Okay. Except I think they're a little crooked here. It's amazing how hard it is to get things straight. Okay, so we got that all in, and the present is here. And after I did that, I think I want to raise that present up just a little bit, so it feels a little more centered on this card. But still hiding the fact that I made a mess of that, you know, when I took that bigger present off. I took off some of the white. Okay. I think I got it. Okay, there's that. And now on my wish list, I think I'm just going to come out from the edge here. So already I have 2 of the details about this photograph just in the stickers here, which is kind of nice. That helps, you know, it tells the story without actually telling the story. Then I need a number. So I'm going to grab this year's pieces because, or numbers, because those green numbers are pretty little. This is the 10th. Yeah, 10th. I was like, do I want to put that on the present? The answer to that is no. Maybe I can just get it up here. I'm gonna grab, I like these tweezers, not just because my fingernails are often not long enough, but, you know, to grab stuff, but because then I can sort of move them around a little bit and see what I think. Like, I think that would have to come up off the top just a little bit, but I think that'll work. Yeah, I'm not going to put it on the, I did think about putting it on the picture, but I'm not going to do that. I think I'll put it up here. And then I'll just trim. Nope. I put it down, and I put it down a little bit too far so that I didn't need to trim anything. And it looks a little bit funny because it's sitting just at the top there. Okay, bring that closer, I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so there we go, December 10th. I'm going to trim the slightest bit off the top of this sticker. And there we go. So the question is, do I want to add any blue in, or do I like it just as it is? So what that would look like is it would be laying basically like this. Look to see where, so I don't have any blue hearts, I don't think, that are that little. Well, I'm wrong about that. I have a couple right here. I have 2 of them. So I probably can get these on like here. Okay, I'm going to just put that on there so that it sticks, but it doesn't stick to the photo. And then probably pop that down there. When I do that though, then I leave that nasty white space. We don't want to do that. Or I could use this bigger blue one here. See which I like better. I think I like the smaller one. The other thing I could do is bring it up to the top here as well. So I think, and this is harder to see because I've got that on top of there. I could also do this one. Otherwise they're both on the same side of the card, and I didn't love that when I was looking at it. I think I like a little bit better this way. And that way. I think that's good enough. I could have used a blue star too if I'd had any that tiny, but I didn't. So these are from 2022, so those are not available anymore. I'm laughing because I'm laughing at myself that I still have so many of those left. All right, so I think this is done. Yeah. And actually, it will sit like that. And my book is right here. So let me put it in the book, and I think I'm going to like this. And then tomorrow, that's the page for tomorrow that I'm going to do probably tomorrow morning, because if I don't do it tomorrow morning, it will be very late at night after a holiday party. Yeah, I think that's good. So then tomorrow, I'll do these pages, and you're just going to really see the ornaments with probably some stickers or something. The journaling is here and here. And we'll talk about what I did with these pages to make them a little bit different. But then I think once this is done, the more I look at it, then I could do the back of this to try to understand like what kind of pattern I might want to do. And it just popped into my head that I might want to make this like a navy dot, like a navy polka dot, because that would pull, it wouldn't be, because I think if I did the plaid again, that's a lot of pattern when you're looking at like this on top of it, but that would help like the navy come in. Let me see if I've got one. Just since I'm having the thought, you can see that as it develops, right? Although that may be a scary place to be. Sorry if it is. Just looking to see if I have a navy polka dot easily available. So I have like this navy pattern. That you'd see that sort of peeking through here. I was thinking I have a navy snowflake, but I think that's too much. I have a navy tone on tone. That's probably more what I'm thinking. The dot and that is really small. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking of, where I'm thinking of going, so that you'd see this like behind there. and then you'd see this page, and then when you looked this way, you'd see it kind of like this. I like that idea. So I'm going to leave this piece out. Hey, Auntie Caffeine Crafts, whose name I love. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we're going to do with the back of this now. And then I can decorate and do lots of little things like that Joy Joy card that I love so much. Because if you guys have been with me, definitely any Christmas season, you know how much I love the word joy. But like I could put that Joy Joy card here, or, you know, just do a title, or, you know, there's lots of stuff I can do. Use one of these die cuts, make up a cluster, you know, that kind of stuff. Just as kind of a little break in the thing. But I think I want to wait. And then I think I talked about using like one of the light strings. So to give you an idea, this is the light string that I was talking about using. There's a smaller one also, but you know, I was thinking of using this light string, and this would look great on that. So that makes lots of sense to me now. So I'm just going to put that paper aside, because then I don't have to try to remember what the heck I was thinking about when I'm ready to do this. And maybe I'll have time to do it tomorrow morning. I've got the next couple days are crazy, super busy. And like one thing on top of the other. I've worked, I know this sounds crazy, but I have worked 33 hours in 3 days, which if you think about how physical a job is as a massage therapist, that's crazy, but that's just what I do sometimes. And I'm working a long day on Friday on top of that. Normally my Fridays are about a half a day. So maybe I'll have time like on Saturday morning or something to get that done, but we'll see how that goes. So this is TBD to come, but I'm starting to formulate ideas in my head. And sometimes when I have a blank space like this, I don't mind waiting on things like that, because it doesn't have to be done right away. And the more I look at this, the more I'm glad that I didn't do this right away, because I didn't think about the fact that I'd see, actually, I'm going to see this whole blue, not just this piece, but now that I really look at this, I'm seeing this between the two cards as well. So when I do my embellishment, I want to probably be careful about what that looks like, because I'm going to see part of it through this seam. Now, if I see only part of it, a little tiny part of it, is that the worst thing in the world? No. That won't be that big of a deal to me. But if I can take account for that, that might be a nice thing to do. So I was just thinking I could even do like a card like that, or something like this with that light string or something. Or, you know, there's a December here, so like I could do the light string in that December and this card. And this doesn't have to have anything to do with this, really. The story will be introduced here, and then I'll just have the festive thing. I don't have any pieces in this die cut pack that have like light strings or anything like that on it. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens as I decorate that. But that's kind of my idea of where the book is going. Hey, Harmony, good to see you. But kind of some ideas of things that I'm thinking about. And I think I said this the other day when I was on only about day 3 or 4. I'm really loving how this is developing already, because I have different page types here. I have different page sizes here. Different ways that I handled, although these are kind of the same, but there's a little difference in here, how I handle the same pages. This is 2 3x4s and a 4x6, but I handled it almost like I had 3 or 4 3x4s. Then I added in this cup, this piece from around the cup, in the other day, so that's nice. So I have a difference there, you know, something different in there. And then I've got, this is going to be there. Then I have this little half page. And then tomorrow when we get to this, because you guys have seen this already when I was talking about planning, I have one of my fold out pages, which will be fun. And there's something secret going on behind this fold out page that we'll talk about tomorrow too, to make that more fun. But I've got lots of different things going on and some things that feel a little bit more interactive in my book. I can tell you I'm feeling like soonish it's going to be time for me to think about a sequin page, because you know I like to add those in. And yeah, so Anti-Caffeine Crafts, it's not actually a page I made. This comes from scrapbook.com. So they have ones like this where it's 4 3x4s, and then there's a fold out with 2 3x4s, which is really 4 3x4s. So they have that size. They also have one where it's 2 4x6s and then 2 3x4s as well, that fold of 4 really 3x4s. So scrapbook.com, if you go to their album supplies and look at 6x8 album pages, you can see these. So, and you should be able to do somehow with your fuse tool. I would think if you did something with, if you had the 2 3x4s here, like, could you, you might end up with a little bit of, trying to think. Because if you used your fuse tool, like with this page, that would be a little tough, because you'd end up shortening one of these to a less than a 3x4. If you had 4x6s and you're using phone camera photos, because those are not full size, you'd end up with this much extra. So that you could do with your fuse tool. This probably, sorry, this is folding on. This doesn't fold as easily, but you could do it. The other thing that you can do is, if you have extra little, I'm going to spoil a little surprise for tomorrow. If you have some of these little inserts that you can get from Creative Memories, or Creative Memories has them. So this one goes this way, but I think they also have them that you could lay on this way as well. And you'd have 1 or 2 of those too. I have done, if you wanted to do this to make your own, you could washi tape though. Because what you could do is use 2 of these, cut one, just like I cut this one, and then you could trim this to whatever size you need, and then washi tape them together. You'd have to washi tape front and back, but you could allow yourself enough room to do that. That'd be a lot of playing around, but it's probably about the thickness of this border is, and just washi tape them back and forth. So that's a way to do it. I used washi tape a lot for different things before I got my fuse tool. So depending on how much of your photo space you're okay with losing, though, you could use your fuse tool on this somehow. So there's some thoughts. And you could always, you know, even if you made this shorter because you're going to do your fuse tool on this, it probably would fall more nicely with the washi tape too. But if you did it, yeah, you're right about that. The adhesive can be a problem with the washi tape. You could also sew too. Sew or staple. I've stapled things as well. I used to staple pages to the top of others. Like I've got the flip out and the back here. before I found these, on occasion I would somehow staple or washi tape. I've washi taped to the top of this as well before I had my fuse tool to do stuff like that, or before these pockets really. So lots of ways. You might just have to play with that a little bit to see what you could come up with. Especially, you know, given that we're in the middle of the season right now. But sometimes the having to invent something is kind of fun as well too. But lots of different things you can do. But either way, there's some ideas for you for things to come. The other thing that I used to do too to make it this really easy, before I had this ability, is I would just do what I did here. And then, so pretend I don't have that. This was all just one layout like this. I'd lay just the 2 pockets on top and just do that. And that would work great too. And I know that Shamel did this very early when she was first scrapbooking, I think for 2 Peas in a Pod, where she was doing her vacation that they took kind of around the world one year. And she would staple her pages together here, okay, and the binder piece here, or so. And then when you turned them, they would turn together as one layout. So you get them to do this, okay? They look kind of like this, but that would kind of tell you when you came across that page in your scrapbook that those went together. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But she did that. I did a class with her early on in her 2 Peas in a Bucket day, for those of you who've been scrapbooking a long time. And that was one of the things she had us do. And I don't remember if those were monthly classes she was doing or if it was something that was paid at that point, but whatever. But that's an idea too, is you could sew, if you don't want to worry about fuse tools or washi tapes or anything, and you want them to look like they're more joined. I personally don't have a problem with pages and I've done this even before, you know, I've done this, but yeah, Harmony says she misses 2 Peas. Me too. It was actually 2 Peas was a Wisconsin company that is about 45 minutes away from where I live. So I really miss them because the shipping from them was always fantastic. But anyway, it doesn't personally bother me that pages sit across and you have this big gutter in between, but that bothers some people, or for some reason you just want it to look more unified. So that's some of the ways that you can get that. So I love how some days these, you know, what I think is going to happen for the night morphs into other things. And you can probably tell I have a lot more energy and I am feeling better today because besides being colder, we got some snow today, which means it's a little bit easier on my allergies that are going on. So, yeah, if the 2 Peas creators saved all their content. At the point that happened, there was a way they were doing it from what I remember. And they, I think they had to buy the rights to them, or, Harmony, sorry, in the middle of a serious discussion. I'll address that one in a minute. But so I don't know what she did, if she ended up saving it and just keeping it. And I can't remember what her early classes were called. And I don't know that I saved all of those either. But anyway, I know at one point she was trying to do that. And I don't know about other creators that were working with them at the time. So good question though. You might want to go back in to her class archives and her website and see what you can find. You know, they might be there. I know I did a class with her that was amazing because she did it once a month. And the first month you started with 1 photo, and by the end you were putting 12 photos in a layout. And I'm not talking necessarily about a 2-page layout, although she did that. But even if she did a 2-page layout, they were very, very creative. And there's a 2-page layout that she did that I still use that formula sometimes today. I haven't done it in a long, long time, but, and that was before stuff like this or these fold out pockets. So yeah, that'd be cool to go back. I think it was called like multi-photo challenge or something like that. So that'd be, if she does have those, that would be a fun one to look at. So a couple of comments. First of all, the thing I was laughing at is Harmony said, it snowed here too. Come get your weather. It's in my yard. Harmony lives in Tennessee, just in case anybody is wondering. So I'm sure she's not real happy with me sending my weather her way. And then to answer your question, how do I work and do all the Christmas stuff at the same time? Number one, biggest reason is I love Christmas. It is my absolute favorite time of year. Has been forever. Even when I worked in a department store at Christmas, I worked for a big Midwest department store that later actually bought Carson Pirie Scott out of Chicago and became other things. But I worked for them for a few years in the stores, and then I was a buyer. And my holiday shopping pretty much had to be done by mid-October, or I didn't have time to do it because we were working mandatory 60-hour, 6-day-a-week work weeks. That was the mandatory hours. That did not mean that I was only working 60 hours a week. So I learned early on in my life how to balance Christmas and work and having, you know, fun and that kind of stuff. So that's the easiest way. The other thing is this. How is this? So this is my 17th year of doing this project. It didn't always look like this. If you go into my playlist, I don't have them all there, but I do have some, and I don't remember if I have my first one in there or not, my first December daily, which was basically a chipboard album with a 4x6 picture taped to one side on a piece of cardstock. On the other side was a stamp for journaling. That was my very first December daily, basically. I didn't call it that because it was a Heidi Swap class at the time, but it was December daily. So that was the first one, and it's morphed into this, but I've been doing this form in some shape for a longish time now. So I've had a lot of practice doing this. And the other way I do it is because you guys keep me accountable. I love doing these videos, but it also helps make sure that my book is getting done. Yeah, and they're out there. So if you go to the playlist, if you go to my playlist, you will be able to see them. I can't remember if it's called December Daily Albums, or if I think about it, I'll take a look and I'll mention it tomorrow to see what it is. But they're listed in there by year, like 2020. That's why when you see these videos, they're 2024 December daily, so that people can track them to figure out what year they're in and that kind of stuff. But it is kind of fun to see them. And I always intend to get all the rest of the albums out there. I just haven't done that, but I really need to do that some year, because that would be at some point in time. And maybe now that I'm not doing scrapbooking videos on a regular basis like I was, maybe that would allow for some of that kind of time too. Although I haven't been scrapbooking as much as I like to either. But that part of it is the season of the year too. I do miss regular scrapbooking. At the moment, I'm getting the itch, but I'm not going to be able to get to it. I have the week between Christmas and New Year's off though, so I'm hoping that I can get some time. I have one Disney layout to finish, and then I'm finished with all the 2023 albums, and I really want to have that done before the New Year, so hoping to get that done. But anyway, so there's tonight's layout. There's lots of extra fun you know, just other asides as well, you guys. And then just let's see, we've got weird comment here. So let me get rid of this. Okay. Anyway, sorry guys. It wasn't anything obnoxious, but it was obnoxious just because it didn't need to be there. Anyway. So I think we've got everything covered. I will try to look up what that December daily playlist is and kind of let you know what years are out there so that you can see the albums if you want to. So, all right, you guys, this was fun. It's nice, by the way. And actually, another thing that you asked is how do I do this? I will tell you that Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I'm flat out tired by the time I start doing this for the night. But tonight, I should be really tired because I worked a regular day. I just started earlier, so I got home an hour earlier, but I worked the same amount of time. Actually, I did a half an hour more of massage today than I normally do, but I've got all the energy in the world, but I have some actual book work to do for my job that actually pays for all these scrapbook supplies. So anyway, you guys, I better get going so I get that done. So much fun tonight. I will talk to you tomorrow, and it will probably be tomorrow morning. Otherwise, it will be very late in the night again tonight, or tomorrow night. So I'm hoping to do it tomorrow morning. So see you then, everybody, and thanks a lot. Bye.